Facebook page, 3 things to immediately look out for. So first is your profile picture. It will be good if you use a logo. And if you use a logo, make sure that you use that logo not just on your profile picture, but as well as it's prominent in your packaging, in your...
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day.
Maayong hapon. Tama ba? Maayong hapon. Thank you for coming forward. Meron pang chocolates in front if you wanna move forward further. First of all, would like to say thank you so much for attending today's session. And second of all, I want to assure you that you actually chose the right breakout session. You know why? Because we have tons of prizes to give away for this breakout. So I will be presenting today together with Cams, who will later on walk you through best practices in terms of creatives. But basically, for the rest of the afternoon, we're gonna hopefully help you grow your business within Facebook. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Pat Del Castillo. Does anyone here not understand Tagalog? Okay, alright, cool. I just wanna make sure. So anyway, so I'm Pat. Like said earlier, I'm a client solutions manager from Facebook. What that means essentially is I'm supposed to be a product and platform expert. And I've been with Facebook for around 3.5 years now. But before I joined Facebook, I actually tried to start my own business. I tried twice, and I didn't know a lot of things then that I know now. And I wish I had known them, right? Maybe my startup attempt would have been much more successful. And so for today, I want to make sure that I share the learnings that I have with everyone so that hopefully your startup business will be much, much more successful than mine. So for my portion of today's session, I will talk to you guys about some insights, so user behavior insights globally and locally, some tips, best practices and tricks on your Facebook pages, Messenger, measurement tools, and stuff like that, like whatever you can maximize on the Facebook platform. And then lastly, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about online marketing. After my portion, Cam Santa Ana, who is another Facebook colleague of mine, will talk to you guys about creatives. So what types of creatives are most effective on Facebook that will hopefully help your business. So I want to kick things off by sharing how many people there are on Facebook. Does anyone have any idea? Like globally, have you ever heard like how many people around the world are on the Facebook platform? And again, we're gonna give you prizes. So raise your hand if you have any sort of guess. There are 7 billion people in the world. How many people are there on Facebook?
Raise your hand, raise your hand.
Wait, sorry, she raised her hand first. 5 billion. Okay, next bid. Sorry? 2.5 billion? 3 billion. So the correct answer is 2.5 billion people on Facebook. Globally, right? Yay! Awesome. You get a chocolate. And there are tons more prizes to give away later, right? Okay, so there are 2.5 billion people globally who are on the Facebook platform. On Instagram, there are around 800 million, just shy of 1 billion. And then on Messenger, there are around 1.3 billion people. And the reason why I share this to you guys is I want you to dream, right? I want you to imagine, what if you have the power to reach billions of people and convert them as your customer? I understand right now, most of your businesses are small businesses. But because of the internet, because of Facebook, you now have the opportunity to reach customers not just within your barangay or within Cebu City, not just people within the Philippines, but as well as people from India, from the US, wherever, right? Wherever in the world. And all throughout my presentation, I'm going to share with you case studies, samples of small businesses who have started a small shop in their own community, and now they have a global customer base. So hopefully you get inspired, you pick up a few things, and ultimately the goal is we just want to help you grow your business. But let's park the 2.5 billion people, right? Let's park that for now. Let's start with our immediate audience, our low-hanging fruit. In the Philippines, John has shared this earlier, there are around 87 million Filipinos on the Facebook platform monthly. That's a lot. The population of the Philippines is around 110 million. Around 87 million is on Facebook every single month. And imagine being able to talk to 87 million Filipinos and get them to buy your product or go to your shop. On Instagram, we have 13 million. On Messenger, we have 54 million. And these are monthly numbers, but we all know that Filipinos love Facebook. We're practically a Facebook country, and most Filipinos go to Facebook every single day. But it's not common knowledge. Sometimes people would think that, okay, Filipinos are on Facebook, but probably you're just talking about an audience which is in Metro Manila. In fact, if you break down Facebook's reach, the reach within the Philippines is nationwide. You have Facebook users coming from not just Metro Manila or key city areas, but as well as in the rural areas. I don't know, are you guys familiar with Facebook Lite and Messenger Lite? We also have that, right? So it's really to make it as easy as possible for everyone to be able to be on the internet and use the internet. Now, how do you reach potentially the 87 million Filipinos and the 2.5 billion customer base out there waiting for you? It all starts with your Facebook page. It all starts with your Facebook page. This is your first step, your window into really expanding your business and acquiring customers online. So what I'll go through for this portion are tips, tricks, and best practices to leverage your Facebook page, your Facebook Messenger, as well as the other tools that's available to you. So any guesses on how many, okay, it already showed, never mind. There are actually 70 million business pages on Facebook alone. This is globally, 70 million business pages on Facebook and 25 million business pages on Instagram. So this is your competition. Not everyone, of course, but essentially there are a lot of businesses. And the reason why they're doing this is because, again, Facebook is a free service and their existing customers and potentially new customers are already in that platform. If you try to build a website right now, you're going to have to pay servers, development, maintenance, etc. And all of that is free on Facebook. So, and whatever access you have as a small business is the same as a Nestle, as a P&G, as those big companies. So it's a level playing field, right? So now it's really up to you. You have the chance, you have the opportunity to really beautify your page, implement correct online marketing strategies, etc. Again, like I said earlier, the reason why there are a lot of small businesses there is because their existing customers and potentially new customers are all already on Facebook. In fact, out of the 2.5 billion people we were talking about earlier, 1.6 billion people is connected to a small business. So they actually look for your businesses. Aside from connecting with family and friends, they look for the businesses that they already support, the brands that they already support, the products that they already use. They look for them on Facebook. And look at this number. This is amazing to me. 2 billion messages are sent between a person and a business page every single month. 2 billion messages between a person and a business. if we're talking about text messaging here, before you can't just text a business because you don't know their mobile number, right? But now, because everyone expects for their brands, products, and businesses to be on Facebook, they now have a direct line of communication. I'll talk more about messaging later on. So it all starts with your page, but as you have now your page, what do you do next? Right? What do you do next? What do you implement? How do you maximize the features of your pages? And what we've learned is that it's best used in 3 ways. So the first one is maintaining existing relationships. So you have your current customer base. It would be good to already maintain that relationship with them through either your Facebook page or Messenger. The second one is find new customers. This will absolutely help you grow your business if you leverage on Facebook to expand your current customer base and find new customers. And then equally as important is to measure results. And why I say this is equally important, it allows you to make data-driven decisions. Instead of just, oh, because ka-close ko this person and that's what this person recommended to me, you can validate whether your strategy is correct. You can test before you spend a lot of money in that strategy that you were thinking of. You can measure everything, basically. And so based on these 3 things, we've listed down 3 areas on how you can really maximize the use of your Facebook page. The first part is build. Make sure that you build a good presence on your Facebook page that will make you stand out versus other businesses, or easily as recognizable at the very least. The second one is to communicate with your customers. Like I said earlier, communicating is a very important piece, whether it's a one-to-one communication or one-to-many communication. And then lastly, you need to be able to manage and measure your results. So I'm going to deep dive on these points, and then I'll share with you some best practices that we've seen. So the first one is obviously build your page. Is anyone here that doesn't have any Facebook page? Everyone has a Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So as you build your Facebook page, 3 things to immediately look out for. So first is your profile picture. It will be good if you use a logo. And if you use a logo, make sure that you use that logo not just on your profile picture, but as well as it's prominent in your packaging, in your store, in your product itself, in your creative materials, etc. So the point here really is to make sure that they easily recognize you wherever they see that logo. So don't put like a profile picture of like an artista there or something like that, right? So it's best if you use your own logo. The second one is make sure that your profile banner is beautiful and it represents your brand or your product. So you can use this as either a product shot, a video or a photo of a creative material, a content material that you have. And then lastly, and I think this is the most important one, make sure that you have your complete business information in there. So you'd have your address, where they can find your store, or where your office is located, your phone number, your website if you have that, your Instagram profile, and then of course your operating hours so that they know what to expect. So again, I go back to, this is sort of like a free website, right? And the website you would have to pay for that, but instead of having to put that all together, you make your Facebook page look like as professional as possible, and something that looks like a website. The next one is being able to customize your sections. So not a lot of people know that the sections within your Facebook business page is customizable and you can actually edit it, delete it, etc. There are a few sections that you can put there. So the first one is services. So let's say you're a salon, you're a travel agency, basically your business doesn't have a specific product catalog that you're selling. So make sure you input there all the services that you have, include the price, include the SKU or the type of service, and make sure that it's listed there at the top section of your page. The second one is shop. On the flip side, if you're not doing services and you have an actual product that you're selling, put there your product catalog so that users can easily see all the products that you're selling, their price, their SKUs, etc. All the pertinent details related to your product. The next one is jobs, right? The jobs is if you are hiring someone, whether full-time, part-time, contractor, etc. You can put job postings there so that people can easily apply. They can even give you their resume over this jobs tool. A pro tip on the sections bit is that the first thing that a user usually looks at is your reviews. So make sure that you have good reviews and that you're interacting with people who gives you feedback on your Facebook page. And make sure that the reviews is a prominent area there in your sections portion. Another good thing to edit is the call to action button. The call to action button essentially is best leveraged if the call to action that you use is the closest bit that the user would be able to convert. Meaning, if for example you're a spa, and obviously what you want them to do is to book an appointment, your call to action would be book an appointment. If your business is, let's say, lechon, and you want them to buy lechon, your call to action should be buy now. So the best use of the call to action button is to make them a step closer towards the full conversion funnel. So that's for build. The next one is communicate. And this is something that we've seen has become very important, especially in the last 2 years. And in a lot of ways, John kind of mentioned this earlier, the Philippines is leading in the number of messages that we send per day via Messenger, not just between people to people, but as well as people to businesses. And so when we talk about communication, there are essentially 2 ways to communicate with your customers. The first one is one-to-many, meaning you're communicating as a business to a lot of people at the same time. Your entire customer base or the entire people that you want to acquire. The one-to-one bit is more personal and more private. Meaning, let's say I am a customer of your business and I communicate with you via Messenger. I ask you about your product details and our conversation is a bit more intimate and a bit more private. So I'll deep dive on those 2 things. Give you some samples, some ideas on how do you communicate one-to-many and one-to-one. The most common thing for a business as they set up their page is posting. So obviously, as you set up your page and put all those details, what you usually do is you start posting content. What types of content now do you post? So you can use either a photo or a video, a commercial, a product shot, an endorser, information about your page. The second one is not a lot of businesses use this a lot, is offers. Has anyone tried Facebook offers? Facebook offers, you should look it up, is a way to give discount or promo where your users, whoever will see your offers, they can save that offer and then when they go to your store, they can show it to you and then let's say it's like 50 pesos off, right? It's sort of a come-on to entice them to go to your store or to buy your product. That's Facebook offers. The user, everyone in this room actually, if you have a Facebook page, you will have your own offers folder. So if you've ever heard of those coupon hunters, so it's kind of the same behavior where you get to collect the offers that you get and then save them in your offers folder and then use them offline or online. The next one is available jobs. I kind of touched on this a little bit. So if you're looking to hire someone for help with their part-time or full-time, you can also post that on your event, on your page. The next type of post is events. So you can create your own events. Let's say you're having a sale in your store, or you're hosting, or you're attending, let's say, an event of someone else, like a food show, for example, like a food fair, and you're attending there as a product. You can create your own event and make use of events as a way to promote that and to tell your followers or your users to buy your product in that specific event. There are actually 700 million people using events each month. That's also very high. Although in the Philippines, there are a lot of, how should I say, yung mga suntukan sa Ace Hardware and all that stuff, yung mga parang not really real events. But the point is that users actually enjoy using events, whether for personal use, with their friends and family, or with businesses and interacting with other companies. The next one is groups. Groups is also another favorite of mine. I actually am part of at least easily 10 groups. Groups is a way to be able to communicate with your customers, whether at a large setting, but keeping that connection or communication very personal. So groups is a big thing. 1 billion people on Facebook actually are part of a group. And the types of groups that people join vary very vastly, right? So you can join a group that's a buy and sell group, or an interest group, or a group of your barkada, your office, etc. So as a brand now, how do you participate in a group? You can actually join a group as a business. So let's say you're a travel agency and there's a travelers group that you join. So you can join as that travel agency, or in a buy and sell, for example, group, you can join as someone who creates furniture. And you can join as that business and interact with people who are in that group as a business rather than as a user, so that you can direct them immediately to your page or to your store. A pro tip here is you can also create your own group as a business. So instead of just joining a group, you can create one, and if you already have an existing one, you can link it or merge it with your existing Facebook page. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about advertising. So after you create your page, you've already experimented with a few posts. How do you know that it's time to advertise? How do you know it's time to boost? Basically, at this point, I would suggest that you start advertising if you want to now expand your reach. You would notice fairly quickly as you post stuff on your Facebook page that the reach of your post will be not that big. You're certainly not going to be seen by 84 million people suddenly, or 2.5 billion people suddenly. So at what point do you know if you start boosting, right? So basically, the most important determining factor is if you want to start expanding your reach. And if you know that when you reach them, they will actually convert. It brings back a value to your business. Either they buy your product, they inquire about you, or they go to your actual store. So if you're at that point where you want to already grow your business, you want to grow your reach, and you need to source new growth channels for your business, then maybe it's time to consider advertising. The second type of communication is one-to-one. So one-to-many, okay na tayo doon. One-to-one is really about messaging. And this is a trend that we've noticed in the last few years where people has basically shifted the way that they communicate. In the past, where we would rely on text messaging, that's not anymore the case. People now prefer to message via the app rather than to text message. And they have that same expectation with not just their friends and family, but as well as businesses. Because they can easily now find the business online or on Facebook, they expect that they can message that business anytime and that you will reply. In fact, 56% of people worldwide would now prefer to message a business on a messaging platform rather than calling. Like before, super uso to ask your customers to call your phone number and all that. But it's a long wait, right? Most of the time, they wait for someone to attend to their questions. Not all the phone numbers are reliable, and it's too much engagement, too much involvement for the user. Meanwhile, it's so easy to now message a business, whether on Facebook or anywhere else. Like I said earlier, there are 2 billion messages sent between a user or a customer and the business every single month. And a lot of that is being driven out of Southeast Asia because there are a lot of small businesses in this region. Now, how do you capitalize on that trend as a small business? As a small business who's in Cebu, how do you now capitalize on this global trend? The first thing you do is, as you now have your Facebook page, automatically you have access to Messenger. You don't have to create a separate Messenger account, but if you already have a Facebook page, automatically you already have presence on Messenger. So that's one. Now it's up to you how you use that. There are a few tools, free tools, that you can use today to make sure that you're messaging consistently with your customers. The first one is the welcome greeting. So if you already have your page, make sure that you customize your welcome greeting. You can customize the image on the header, the logo, and then obviously the welcome greeting. Mayong buntag, my product is X, we're open, Monday to Friday, etc., etc. We will get back to you as soon as we can. Right? We're a proud small business from Cebu, etc., etc. But the point is, make sure that you customize the greeting so that they feel like someone will get to their message. Immediately, they get the impression that someone will reply and that this is a well-maintained page and that the owner will actually check on this quite often. The second one is quick replies. So instead of manually replying to every single message, as you get used to and leveraging on Messenger, leveraging on messaging, and as you get better at replying and messaging your customers, you will naturally get an increase of messages that will come in. And it will be at some point difficult for you to reply to every single one of them. So quick replies enables you to automate that process. So the frequently asked questions like HM po. Have you guys heard of HM po? How much po, right? So if they ask HM po, you already know how much it is. What time do you close? What time do you open? So those repetitive questions that you can automate, then you can use quick replies so that it will immediately answer the question of the user. The next one is away message. So people hate waiting, not just for replies, right? But me personally as well, I hate waiting. It's one of the most painful things ever to just wait for something. To set your customers' expectation on when you would be able to get back to them is already something to your advantage. You will already have a good user experience in terms of your communication with them. So make use of the away message template. Tell them that your store hours is from X to X and that you would typically reply, let's say, the next morning or first thing Monday morning, etc., etc. That's messaging. The next one is manage. Manage and measure. So as you become a pro in leveraging your Facebook page and your Facebook Messenger, how do you manage now all of these things? And then sometimes you even have Instagram, right? So we've built tools over the years to make sure that it's as easy as possible for small businesses to manage all of their assets on Facebook. Like I said, usually you start with a Facebook page, You expand to a messenger presence, and then you have Instagram. Being able to manage all those things, we now have unified inbox. So whatever messages you get on your page, on your messenger, on Instagram, if you use unified inbox, you'd be able to manage all of those platforms as a business owner. It's supposed to be to make it easy and simple for you. The next one, as a pro tip, you might want to download the Page Insights app so that you get insights on the go, on your mobile, on what's happening on your page. It's sort of like helping you manage your entire business portfolio from your mobile phone. So you will see how many people has been reached by your post, how many people has bought a certain product, how many, from what demographic or what age are the purchases from. It'll give you a lot of insights. The next one is measuring results. So, like I said earlier, it's equally as important to make sure that you measure everything that you do on the platform. And what I mean by that is, we don't want you to just focus on likes or shares or engagement, but essentially, we want to make sure that you're tracking everything that you're doing from Facebook to actual conversions, whether online or offline. So we want to make sure that it's adding value back to your business. So there are a few tools that you can use. So like I said, Page Insights. And essentially, within Page Insights, you will be able to see breakdown on performance, demographics, actions taken. There's a lot more things in this area that I can talk about forever, but maybe I'll park that for another day. So in recap, basically for your Facebook page, your Facebook assets, there are 3 things that you can do: build, communicate, and manage or measure. That's the first portion of my talk. And I want to share with you guys a sample of a small business that started in Indonesia. It's called Batikultur. They're selling batik clothing. It's very closely tied to Indonesian culture. They started as a small shop with an employee of 1. Guess how many employees they have now? Not that much. But okay, 66. They've expanded to 66, and 1/3 of their entire workforce are PWDs. But more importantly, they're now an international clothing brand. They have customers from all over the world. So let me show you the story of Batikultur.
Jadi awalnya jualan itu nggak sengaja. Saya mulai belajar dari buku atau dari orang-orang yang lebih senior tentang proses pembuatan batik. Saya akhirnya fall in love dengan batik. Dari situ akhirnya saya mulai mengembangkan kain-kain tersebut menjadi baju. Saya mulai browsing, ada nggak sih komunitas orang-orang yang memang suka batik yang itu saya ingin buat. Setelah ketemu orang-orangnya, saya add-in ke profil. Habis itu mulailah jalan dari sana. Waktu mulai aku dibantu dengan admin dan juga pada saat itu 1 karyawan. Saat ini kita memiliki 66 orang karyawan, di mana 27 di antaranya adalah orang yang disabled. Kita mulai dari yang seperti dan kemudian over time memulai orang-orang yang baik itu dari lahir ataupun karena kecelakaan. Saya ingin orang-orang itu bisa melihat mereka because of their ability and not from their disability. Awalnya pas dipindah dari Facebook profile ke Facebook page sempat bingung banget karena memang 95% dari sales itu datangnya dari Facebook profile. Ingat dari Facebook profile ke Facebook page adalah salah satu keputusan yang tepat dan saya ambil untuk Batikultur. Saya telah mengalami peningkatan jumlah sales sebanyak kira-kira 60%. Saya juga mengalami peningkatan customer base sebanyak 70%. Saya menggunakan Page Insight untuk lihat customer saya itu lokasinya di mana. 45% dari customer saya itu asalnya dari Jakarta, 10% dari Surabaya, 40% dari kota-kota lain di Indonesia, dan sisa 5%-nya dari luar negeri. Saya lebih sering untuk melakukan schedule. Jadi post tersebut nggak langsung dipublish, tapi di schedule dulu untuk waktu-waktu tertentu. Biasanya saya pilih adalah di mana customer saya lebih banyak online. Setelah saya schedule, saya akan melakukan post, di mana post tersebut itu akan saya promosikan orang-orang yang menurut saya bakalan tertarik. Orang-orang kan biasanya kalau ada yang interested bakalan komen. Kami sebagai admin harus reply secepat dan seakurat mungkin. Jadi customer itu interestnya masih di situ. Saya menggunakan Facebook page dari bulan September tahun lalu. Return on expect-nya biasanya sekitar 125 kali. Untuk kedepannya, Batikkultur berharap bisa lebih banyak lagi galeri di kota-kota besar di Indonesia. Dengan menggunakan Facebook page, bisnis Anda bisa lebih berkembang.
Ang cool, di ba? Super cool. We actually presented Batikkultur in our global summit last year in the US. The entire Facebook company was watching this video. It's an amazing story. I'll pause here before I move to online marketing. Do you have any questions?